What's up everyone, it's SomaZ here with the new patch about the new, I'm gonna talk about the new item basically, which is the only noticeable change in the patch for me. There's a bunch of announcer, like one announcer and a bunch of avatars, but I'm not too interested in that. So basically the main point of this patch is this item right here, which is called the Lightbrand. So basically we have the Firebrand, the Icebrand, which are both based on agility and strength, and now we have a third brand which is based on intelligence, and it's called the Lightbrand. Now, you might have heard that there's like 5 new items, but those are all basically based on Lightbrand. One is Lightbrand plus Firebrand, a combination. The other is Lightbrand plus Icebrand. Then there's the all 3 brands combined. Then there's the Lightbrand itself, and one new item based on Lightbrand, which is the Grimoire of Power. So I'll talk about this item first. Basically, this item is... they did it the same thing as they did with Firebrand. So with Firebrand, they have the Blessed Orb plus Firebrand plus like a recipe or something else, and you have Geometer's Bane. You basically can split up the Firebrand or even the Dawnbringer at the end, which is the item that is like all 3 brands, and create something with the use of a Blessed Orb. The same thing actually applies to the Icebrand. So there you have Blessed Orb, but also takes a Glowstone. But basically, yes, a brand plus Blessed Orb plus recipe equals to something. And they made an item for intelligence like this as well. So Lightbrand plus Blessed Orb plus something equals to this item. So let's see now. I'll say that I'm pretty skeptical about this item, or at least I was, and I was really against the change and trying to change it, but I joined the super beta a bit too late and the item was kind of already done. So what's done is done, the items, and I just didn't like the concept of damage on attack, like damage over time on attack, the searing thing, which I will talk about in a second, on an intelligence-based items. I just didn't like it because I thought not many heroes will pick it up, but I managed to think it through, and I think this item will be a decent addition to the game, so it's not as bad. So this item gives static mana regen, so you can see it gives plus 16 intelligence plus 3 mana regen. So the only other item in the game that does that is the Ring of the Teacher, which gives you plus 0.65 static mana regen. So basically, this item fixes any mana regen issues you might have early game. So it's really good for early game for some heroes, not for all of them by far, but for a select few heroes it does fix it. And there's the effect of searing, so it's not an attack modifier, but it does work on attacks, so it stacks with other attack modifiers. It's called searing, and basically when you attack something, it applies a damage over time effect to the unit you attacked and the units around it. It applies 1 charge up to a maximum of 3 charges, so it kind of works similar to Icebrand, how it slows up to 3 charges up to 3 times. But basically, if I were to show you how exactly it works, let's take an enemy Valkyrie spawner here, and another one, and another one. So if I place them all together and I get a Lightbrand on this hero, I attack the main Valkyrie, the Valkyries on the side will also have the effect of Plight, but the effect is only like 8 damage per second for 3 seconds, which is not too big, but I suppose it's something. So here, attack, you can see the Valkyries near also have the effect. So it works in an AoE for the damage over time, which is not big, but it has its uses. So I'll talk more about it in a second. So what is this item? Basically, it's for intelligence heroes, for some of them for early game, or it's for late game when you already have a Firebrand and you just need more stats or something. Also, I apologize for any knocking that goes on in the background. It's also kind of useful for farming, kind of. Because it works in an AoE, you can't kind of go to the jungle and try and clear out a creep stack. Even as an intelligence hero that is not very strong. Yeah, I really apologize for the knocking in the background. So, you can think of this as Lightbrand giving you 24 damage on top of the intelligence. So it's 8 damage per second for 3 seconds, which is 24. And it has a maximum of 3 charges. The charges stack. So the only way you would be dealing less than 24 magic damage in total would be as if you attacked faster than once per second, which is only like super late game. So you can think of this as 24 damage. Plus you have 16 intelligence, you can say it's 24 damage on most heroes, and on intelligence heroes it's going to be 40 damage for 2200 gold. Just to compare, For example, a Slayer for 2200 gold will give you 46 damage, which is 4 more, and it's instant damage, not damage over time. But, you know, it also gives you intelligence, also gives you mana. And another thing to note, which is pretty important, damage over time has its uses. It prevents portal keys, it forces them on cooldown, and it also prevents mana and health potions from being used because they will be just dispelled straight away. Also, the same applies to the regeneration rune. So it does have its uses. It can be used for farming, it can be used early game, but my main problem with this item was that it's based on intelligence and it works for damage on attack, kind of like works on your attack. So how many intelligence heroes rely on attack damage? So not very many, but I managed to come up with a list of heroes that I think this item will be decent on. So that's 10 heroes you can see here. 10 heroes, which is 10% of the hero pool, which is not too bad. Other heroes, I could have forgotten one or two, but I thought about it and I don't think it's going to be a viable option. Various heroes. So first row is the heroes that I think this item can be picked up on and can be good. Just if you just rush for the first as a first item straight up. So Prophet, Soul Reaper, and Aluna can all get the Lightbrand straight up. Aluna, because, well, she's kind of a intelligence carry, you know, and her first skill gives her attack speed, which means she can get more auto attacks in, which benefits the Lightbrand, and she can also use the mana, which is good. Prophet, yeah, his second skill gives him attack speed as well, and he just relies a lot on mana. He has a heal, so as long as he has mana, he can be a really strong hero. So I think this is a potentially good pickup on Prophet. And the third is the Soul Reaper, the hero which I hate, just because he already has a heal early game, just extra mana, extra damage. I think it will be good on Soul Reaper, and it will also help him farm. Soul Reaper is also a carry, so he does have gold for it. Prophet also potentially, even though he's kind of a support and Aluna is kind of support, they can both kind of use gold and be carries. So row number 2 is heroes that can get this item early as first item, but there are better options. For example, Puppet Master needs his invisibility Assassin Shroud, which is here, or he needs Whispering Helm. Perhaps you're going for Alchemist Bones. There's like much better options, and for damage, just go for Hellflower if you're Puppet Master, really. So that's kind of why I'm skeptical, but it can be picked up, I suppose. It can be the... Then we have Vindicator, which can also get it, but the problem with Vindicator is he's super squishy. Like he needs some kind of survivability item, like a Tablet of Command, just so that he can get away in trouble, or perhaps a Nullstone. He needs something to keep him alive. God, that knocking is so annoying. And third is Pyromancer, but also here's the same story. He needs a portal key. He needs like Steam Boots before anything else, and he also could use a Hellflower better than a Lightbrand, but it's possible. God, so annoying. Last row is heroes that can get Frostburn, and for them, a Lightbrand would be a good addition because it turns into the Dawnbringer, which basically gives a bit more stats. All the effects are improved. It's even more damage over time and even more mana regen. So Corrupted Disciple, he does have some mana issues. So with a Lightbrand, if you combine the Firebrand into a Dawnbringer, so all 3 brands combined, you get the mana to spam your first skill and farm faster, and also the Lightbrand itself allows you to farm faster because of the damage over time effect. On Valkyrie, yeah, she can use mana for her first, second skills and give some decent damage. It also allows Valkyrie to be incredibly mobile, especially with her passive, just like with Corrupted Disciple. For Gemini, it's a thing of, well, he does get Firebrand a lot, and he needs stats items because his ultimate is based on it. But another really good thing for Gemini is his Twin Strike, the passive skill. It allows him to strike twice, which means that the Lightbrand effect will be applied twice, 2 charges at the same time. This means that if you attack twice in a row, you will probably lose damage overall because you'll be gaining charges way too fast, and it has a maximum of 3 charges. But if you like do a hit and run tactic where you hit once and like retreat and then hit once again, then you will be applying the damage like twice, so it will deal twice damage, but just an option because, well, Gemini can use mana. He's a hero that can use mana and stats, so that's why it's good in Gemini. And Shadowblade, of course, this hero is based on stats. He's based on stats. All of his stats are equal. Getting a Dawnbringer is good on him, then you'll be able to pretty much switch between any item. This is just a nice buff to him. You can just use your first or second or third form, whatever you like, and like just be more versatile on this hero. So this is a really good buff to Shadowblade, potentially a good buff to Soul Reaper and Vindicator. And also Corrupt Disciple, and Gemini, which I think those are all heroes that could have used the buff. So yeah, we'll see how this item works out. It's really interesting. The combinations in a 2x combination, like a Searing Light or a Frozen Light, which is here, the Lightbrand becomes a bit stronger. It deals a bit more damage over time and has a bit more mana regen. Yeah, okay, so that covers all the combinments. And last I want to talk about the Grimoire of Power. So, increases damage done by 15%. This is like all damage done. This is something Behemoth's Heart had before, but then was removed. God, will they stop that? Jesus. So, the damage over time is also boosted greatly from like, even with Dawnbringer, which is all three combined, it's only 16 damage per second. And with the Grimoire of Power, it's 40 damage per second. So that's a huge buff. That's like basically a total of 120 damage, which is pretty good. Like, it's going to be really good for farming. Problem with this item, though, I think is, who's going to get this? Who is going to get this item? I mean, with just 675 gold more, you can get a Kuldra Sheepstick, because you will probably getting that item on an intelligence hero, and Kuldra Sheepstick is just straight up better. Yes, you're not as much of a damage dealer, but the disable of the Kuldra Sheepstick is so good, and it gives more mana regen. Just, I think, a better option. But yeah, I suppose Grimoire of Power is just, it's really expensive, and who is gonna get this? So there's only a few heroes that I think can get Grimoire of Power. So I thought about this, and I believe I came up with Pyromancer can get a Grimoire of Power, and I think maybe Prophet. Soul Reaper, it's a bad item on him. Maybe Aluna, I don't know, not many heroes will get Grimoire of Power in my opinion. I mean, Puppet Master, he needs other items like Kuldras and Hellflower. Vindicator could use the movement speed and the extra health that the Dawnbringer offers, so he probably will go for that instead. Soul Reaper, extra damage dealt is not really good for him because his second skill is not really damage. His ultimate also kind of not really, so only benefits his first skill kind of, so not really a good option. Soul Reaper plus Soul Reaper can use the extra health from Dawnbringer, so yeah, only like Pyromancer, maybe Prophet perhaps, although he's not really that much about damage. So perhaps Aluna, although she can also use more. Yeah, now there's a... Okay, whatever. So that's gonna do it for this video. The item is good. I wanted to make it better, but I joined Super Beta so late to give my feedback. It is used on quite a few heroes, as you can see, 10, so gonna be interesting to see it. That's pretty much all I have for this video. The Grimoire of Power, it's a really late game item. I suppose it's gonna be good at perhaps like mid-wars or something where you have the extra gold to get it, but otherwise I don't see it being used much. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.